He like, that's family.
He's not afraid of you, dude.
Boerboels are renowned masters known for their guarding prowess and their loving hearts. In this video, we'll join Rick and Becky Cooper on their journey to finding their second family Boerboel that's just perfect for them.
Just his presence in and of itself is a deterrent to anybody. Just seeing his massive size. We just had a refrigerator delivered, and the guy is like, what is that, a bear killer? He wasn't being aggressive. I said, no, actually, jokingly, I said, no, he's actually a lion killer.
I thought it was baboon.
He goes, what is he? And I said, he's a Boerboel. And they're like, what is a Boerboel? And I said, it's a South African Mastiff. And he goes, I've never seen one before. I said, they're exotic. And I got them from the Exotics Boerboels. Hi, I'm Rick.
I'm Becky.
Okay, so how my journey started off was, of course, we lost a dog. And I always wanted a Mastiff, another Mastiff. I've had Mastiffs in the past. And so I was kind of, threw a couple other names out. All the names are there. And my kids kept saying, no, 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 no. And all of a sudden, my daughter comes up to me, Molly, my 18-year-old, says, what about, and I stopped her, I said, a Boerboel? And she's like, yeah, Dad, have you looked at the Boerboels? I said, yeah, but where are we going to find one? She says, I got the top breeder. He's in Cleveland. And these are the puppies. And I was like, okay, you guys are ready for another dog. Let's get another dog. I contacted Jordan. Jordan was responsive, told me what his dogs were and what they weren't, which I was looking for, which what they weren't, I didn't want forward-moving aggression at all. And he's like, no, my dogs are not pistols. My dogs are protectors. They back up. They don't go forward. I said, that's exactly what I'm looking for. A protective family dog. He's like, then you got the right guy, the right dogs.
We were very worried because we had just come off of an aggressive dog, and it got to the point where the anxiety level in the house was, if somebody knocked on the door, we were worried about, we couldn't have anybody over. It was very distressing. And so it took a little time to come off of that and get relaxed with Jax in the house because he is so big, and it's been wonderful. We don't worry about people coming over. And when they do, and it is somebody he doesn't know, just like Rick said, there's no aggression, there's no forward movement. It's all, he backs up and sits right down next to me. Last night was a perfect example. Since getting the puppy, Jax is almost 2, and he's graduated to sleeping upstairs free. He's not in a kennel anymore. And last night was a little odd because my nephew spent the night, and he didn't know. He was down for the night when we came in, and he just stood up at the top of the stairs, barking in his big boy bark, we call it, to alert us, but there was no going down and seeing. I mean, he just stayed up where his people were and made sure that we were taken care of and that we were alerted to the difference in the house.
Yes! Stop!
And that's a calming... I mean, we don't have fences. We have no fences in our yard. Everybody in the neighborhood loves them.
Normally, when he sees other dogs, he's absolutely zero dog aggression. He just wants to play with the other dogs. He doesn't want to try and go after them. He doesn't want to be aggressive with anybody, persons. He's almost 20 months old, never seen outward dislike aggression. Our daughter's graduation party in this backyard, we had probably 50 people here. And at that time, I had him on a lead, and my brother-in-law was like, oh, you can't take the dog off the lead. I said, watch. Let him off the lead. And all he did was just go from person to person to person, getting pets and getting love. The biggest problem with him is he was looking for food. That's his biggest downfall, is he does like to table shop once in a while.
And that's not even obsessive.
That's not obsessive. Just his presence in and of itself is a deterrent to anybody. Just seeing his massive size. We just had a refrigerator delivered, and the guy is like, what is that, a bear killer? He wasn't being aggressive. I said, no, actually, jokingly, I said, no, he's actually a lion killer.
I thought it was baboon.
He goes, what is he? And I said, he's a Boerboel. And they're like, what is a Boerboel? And I said, it's a South African Mastiff. And he goes, I've never seen one before. I said, they're exotic. And I got them from the Exotics Boerboels in Cleveland. And they joke and laugh, and they're like, wow, he's gorgeous. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
But everybody remembers. I mean, the police will drive down the street, and they'll stop And they now know that this is the house with the Mastiff. And matter of fact, I called the police station for something one day. I think one of the kids were parking on the street, or I can't remember what it was. Oh, this is the house with that big black Mastiff. So it's known that we have a big black Mastiff that's beautiful, and people stop. The FedEx guy stops and says hello. The school bus driver stopped and got out to see him the other day. He is
a celebrity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
No, the neighbors, she brings treats out for him. He comes over. The neighbors love him. He's just a community dog. But yet, when he needs to be inside the house, he's not aggressive. He's protective. Like if something at night alerts him, his hair goes up, his hackles come up, but he doesn't go downstairs without. He stays upstairs behind.
He waits for the next direction.
Step.
He waits for a direction.
Nope.
Yeah, that's good.
Stay.
Now he quiet. Now he calm.
Honestly, coming to your house and bringing him to that environment which he's never been in, I was apprehensive. But the difference is you took my apprehensions or my anxiety away and just said, let them be dogs. Right. And they were dogs.
And they played and played and played, and there was no aggression. Who had the higher head. And
they ended up getting along really well. And Gemma came to us and just kept laying on our feet, and the first thing you said was, that's your dog. It was jealousy. It wasn't...
It's not too bad.
It's a jealousy. So like if I'd be petting her, he would come up and he'd want to lick my face. And it was
Don't forget about me, Dad.
Yeah, don't forget about me, Dad. And then I've also still kept some of my normal behaviors with Jax without her, and then started incorporating our normal behaviors in with him. So I like to go out in the garage and do what I do out in the garage, and he's always been my best friend sitting next to me. Well, now I slowed it down. I bring her out half the time, then I bring her in, and I bring her back out. I bring her in. So he doesn't feel like he's still not.
He still has dad time.
He's got his alone time.
Well, it's honestly like having a 2-year-old and then a newborn. It's exactly the same. She gets a little bitey. They play very well together. And then when she starts biting him and being nippy, she goes down for a nap, and he gets big kid time. Right. It works. I mean, it's almost clockwork, because I'm home with them. I'm blessed to work from home and home with them all day long, and it's clockwork.
No signs of aggression. No.
No.
I'm the lost child.
No, she gets bitey and we'll be out here. I mean, he obviously, when he's tired, he'll even lay down and let her bite him. He's tired and he wants to lay down. And
on top of that, he rolls over on his back in submission and lets her get on top of him.
Just gnaw on his bottom jaw. And I'm like, to the point where I have to say, I know he can move and defend himself, but no, it's nap time. I pick her up and I put her away. Right. Because I don't, but he allows it. We had a Maltese. So we had Jax, and then we had a little 8-pound Maltese who was 14 years old and very old. The two of them Jax loved him. The Boerboel loved the Maltese. I don't know how much the Maltese. He tolerated the Boerboel. But when we unfortunately lost him not too long ago, Jax was bummed. I picture if he would just walk around bummed. Like, he looked like a depressed, it made me sadder than, I mean, I was really sad, but he really kept it going. And he really needed a friend. He really did. And he needed something to take care of. And he took care of Charlie. He really did. He'd make sure he was where he was needed to be. And now he does the same thing with her. The Maltese was alpha.
Yeah.
He was,
male.
Oh, absolutely. They were both males. Charlie was alpha. He would just walk through. And now, mind you, he had just come off of an aggressive dog that he had to hide from, because as our English bulldog, old English bulldog became older, she became more aggressive. And so he had to sort of hide from her. And with Jax, he'd walk right up. Jax let him eat from his bowl, drink from his water dish the entire time.
She eats.
They all share out of the same stuff. Right. Jax has never been.
His bowl, she drinks out of his or eats out of his bowl. There's zero food aggression. He has never been a food aggressive person or a dog at all. They play together. Well, there are a little bit of jealousy issues, but no aggression jealousy issues. Just, I want more time from mom, or I want more time from dad, or more time from one of the kids, or it's just, you have to acknowledge him and pat him and reassure him.
But Jax, even with the Maltese, Jax wanted to play with him. And he was old. It wasn't that he couldn't, he was just old and didn't want to anymore. Right. And so Jax would try to do the Boerboel bump and come on, and an 8-pound dog has no chance against a Boerboel. So hence why we have another Boerboel.
Right.
Something was missing in Jackson's life. And
no,
what
you're
a
not.
better way to replace what was missing in Jackson's life but to get another Boerboel.
Right in.
She fit right in like a glove. Jackson, like I said, he had never, they spoon together. The difference is the two dogs are right as rain. But when dad's petting the new puppy or mom's petting the new puppy, he goes, whoa, that they're supposed to lead. And so he just kind of tries to come in between so you end up petting two dogs at the same time. Just absolute smoothless, seamless. Brought her in, he took right off to her, and he loves her, and he protects her.
And when she's not around, he walks around and looks for her.
Looks for her. His spirit's lifted. Absolutely lifted.
But I honestly, if it had just been the Maltese and us and no Jax, I would not have gotten a puppy this soon. I really wouldn't have. We truly got the puppy. And I know people say you shouldn't get a puppy for your puppy, but we can't play with the Boerboel. We're not Boerboels.
Right.
Only a Boerboel can play with a Boerboel. Pretty much. They get along. When I say that, it's not that they're aggressive towards other breeds. They get along very well, but the type of play a Boerboel likes to play,
dogs don't like
can't keep
Boerboel
up
ball.
with it. And it's not aggressive. It's fully playful. They do it with us too, but they're so strong.
Their mannerisms on the internet, and you watch their mannerisms in real life, they play their own way. They sprawl their own way.
They sleep their own way.
They sleep their own way. They're a completely different. Jax is somewhere between 150, 160 pounds, and he doesn't know it. So when he goes to play with a 90-pound dog, he doesn't realize how powerful he is. He doesn't realize that the other dog doesn't know how to handle it sometimes. So that's why a lot of dogs shy away from him, because he plays hard. He plays hard with me. He plays hard with her. Mm-hmm. And he's just a big, playful.
But since has gotten older, he has sort of realized the difference. Because when he was about a year and a quarter, maybe, he would play, but he would hit you with that whole, like when he come up, he'd hit you with that whole weight, and you're like, now it's like he knows you can't handle it all, so he holds back. So as he's gotten older, he's gotten.
Jackson is an athlete.
Oh yeah.
Jackson is a pure athlete. He's probably
the laziest athlete I've ever known.
Laziest, but if you look at him, he is lean, he is strong, and he is powerful. But he understands it and he controls it. He's actually about the best dog. I have always said, Jackson will go down in history as my best male. It's very hard. I've had Rottweilers, I've had boxers, I've had a Great Dane, I've had a lot of large dogs. He is so intelligent. You can watch him think, and he understands. Yeah, he's a very personal dog.
And the side eye when he's not real happy.
Yeah, when he's not happy, he'll give you the side eye. And I'm like, come on, let's go, dude. Oh, he does. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, when he lays down and his skin is stretched out, he almost looks like a bodybuilder. Yeah, all of his muscles pop out, and he just looks like this big, massive freak.
With a little butt.
With this little butt. And then he looks up at you and he gives you a kiss, and he's like the most sweetest thing in the world. Got the temperament of a lab, the protectiveness of a dog that is not overly protective nor aggressive, but he understands where his place is in this structure of home. He understands that he does not leave the top step of our stairs where all of our bedrooms are. And he waits for me to come tell him what's next. He's looking for him because he got up last night. Like I said, my nephews were here last night. He got up and he barked twice. I got up and I said, come on, dude, no problem. Put him back in our bedroom and close the door. I do have one thing that I've trained him on. I've been a police officer for almost 30 years. I've been around a lot of canines. I've been around Belgian Malinois, Dutch Shepherds, regular working line Shepherds. And my friends have taught me how to get his attention, and I can get it. And I just say, watch him. And then he goes into like not an aggressive mode, but he starts looking.
And he sits right next to
And he sits and he goes, I go, watch him. and he'll go. But I've never taught him bite work. I've never had him on a jute sleeve. I don't want that. It's not in my DNA to have a dog like that that understands how to bite.
No, we have 6 kids, and we have in a small house, and we have kids that are not ours, in and out, and in and out, and it's a crazy house. Never have any issues. Never have to put him in his kennel.
They actually bring kids over to see him. Like, our kids will tell them how big Jackson is, and then they'll be like, we got to come see him. And then they're like, can we go in? I'm like, yeah, just go in. I don't even have to go in first.
They just come in the house.
They just come in the house. He's used to it.
It's almost like during the hours of this and this, you're free to come into the house.
What, mom and dad?
When mom and dad go to bed, you don't come in the house. Yeah.
Oh, he's absolutely 110%. Like I said, he'll go down as my best male. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where Gemma goes, because I know she's a beautiful dog and she's got a great temperament. And Jackson is taken into her like right on lane. Hello. And all those naysayers out there about Boerboels, about exotic Boerboels, this is probably the best breeder that I've ever dealt with in my life.
Absolutely.
And the most responsive, and has so much on. He does so much for these dogs, and he's just been a blessing to us.
And continues the interest in his dogs after.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
here we
he
are
wanted
almost
to
2
see
years
Jax.
later.
He wanted to see Jax a year and a half later. He's like, bring Jackson to me. I said, all right, I'll bring. So just to put it on film, Jackson is Chaos and Pancake, and she is Pinky and
Balto.
And I'll tell you what, if you ain't ever seen Outlaws, you got to come see Outlaw.
Balto's no.
I have never seen Balto, but I'll tell you what, just the pure sight of Outlaw is just breathtaking. Yeah. Now, would I want one that big? No. 'Cause that's a lot of dog.
That's a different level. We don't need. Yeah.
That's for people that just want monsters.
That's for you.
Those are people. A lot of people want monsters, but I'm very, very satisfied 150, 160 on a male. And I'm hoping she goes 125, 115, somewhere in there.
She's totally
What the
changed in a
difference
week.
is bringing her home and bringing him home. We brought all of his puppy stuff out. His neck was so thick
Oh
as
yeah.
a puppy.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, the stuff is way too big. I mean, she's just a little bit daintier in the head and the neck and the chest.
Well, because the girls are just so much different than the boys. You can definitely tell, even though she has a blue collar, she's a girl.
Yeah, Jax was in this collar for about, Pancake kicked him off at 7.5 weeks, and you said, come get the dog. He was in that collar for probably 2 weeks.
He tries to climb the trees.
Oh, he did?
He tries, yeah.
Oh, him and
He
his
gets up to
squirrel
about
buddies.
that.
He's got a bunch of squirrel buddies that live up there.
He gets about to that yellow. He knocks all those things off.
Yeah, and he does that creep, the Boerboel creep. He gets his head down and he creeps, and then the squirrels see him, and then he charges, and the squirrels go right up the tree, and he tries to climb right up.
Yeah, he knocks those ladybugs right off the tree.
Exotic
No,
Boerboel.
thank you.
Exotic Boerboel.
Thank you very much. Completed our family.
Completed our family. 6 kids, 2 Boerboels, and a guy that cares about his dog. Because the one thing I can tell you is I text this guy and I'll say this is going on or that's going on. He texts me back every
Yep.
time. Yeah.
It's hard to find people that follow through on their word nowadays, so thank you.